All right, so 20 seconds and then.
And just like that, we made it. Here we are, Evan.
We did it.
It is Sunday. It is a brand new live stream right here on the Long Box Punk. That's me. I am Chris, and I talk to indie comic creators every week. Yeah, I talk to indie creators, and this week is no exception. I'm joined by Evan Johnston, who is here to talk about Hallowzine.ink, the fourth iteration. Yeah.
Yeah, this is our fourth year. The first year it was crazy. It was just like this free PDF that we put out there, and I got so much feedback, and it was like one of my favorite things. So yeah, we brought it back and the next year and put it in print, and we've been in print ever since. And I'm just grateful that it lets me talk to creators like yourself who are just doing so much for the indie comic scene. So before I even got involved with Chris, I loved Long Box Punk. Like, I think you do great interviews, and it's just really cool to be in the company of the punk himself. So thank you so much.
Checks in the mail, my friend. No, I'm real excited to be a part of this fourth issue of Hallowzine. I backed last year after I found out that Kay was going to be involved, and that's kind of how I found your work. And I was like, this guy's making Halloween themed zines. Like, this is my stuff. This is my jam. And so, to work with you with and see the first part of Artifacts, and then for Kay and I to bring you on to do the second part of Artifacts with Barricade Brigade. And then, through and through, like, we're just pleased as punch to have you a part of it, and to continue working with you and going through everything that we're going through with making comics and running Kickstarters. So we're going to get into all of the details, all the nitty gritty stuff, all of the things everywhere. But first, because this is a comic podcast, I gotta start with your origin story, man. Like, how'd you get into comics? How did you start creating comics? Like, give me your life story.
Well, Chris, it all starts with a boy and a dream.
Perfect.
making no, my dad was the big comic book collector, and he still is. He's in his 80s, and I love that we can talk about artists like Mike Allred, and we can talk about what's he into these days. He's been finding all these back issues of X Factor, so now I've been hunting. Yeah, those are the best.
Yeah,
you got the Simonsons bringing their best material. Yeah, so he was the big comic book collector. I really didn't have to like buy much because he was just getting kind of everything, and I would read from his collection. And the one that really got to me, and I think got to everybody, was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, he got the first issue, and I was just like, what is going on? Like, this is a black and white comic, and like, the art looks good and the concept is crazy. And so I started drawing comics very shortly after that. I was just like, if this is the world I want to be in. And I had like some punk rock koalas who tried to have adventures. It was not my best work.
Sounds amazing though.
And like I think a lot of people, like, they make art, they get frustrated with art, they pause or they do something else, and that was me. But I kept coming back to drawing because it just feels good. And I would say to people, like, if you're like, well, I'm not a good artist or whatever, just like draw. Like, no one cares. Like, it's like a really nice. We have plenty of good artists, and like, they can't make the stuff that you can make. Like, it's just a really interesting field, I think, because the other part of it is like as you make art, you come to appreciate art more, and like I appreciate comics much more than I did when I was younger. Just because like I know how hard it is to make them. So yeah, like eventually when I was a teen, I was doing I made a zine. I would interview bands, and I would also have like movie reviews, like horror movie and sci-fi stuff, like for the past. And that kind of brought me into self-publishing, and I liked that a lot. And that kind of led to my first career, which is working as a book designer. I made book covers, and you'd think that like the illustration, at the point where I started making book covers, like stock photography was what was hot.
Okay.
And like illustration was not really in the cards. It's like if you had an illustrated cover, people assumed that it was like a book for kids, and then that started to shift. Thank God, because licensing stock photography is like the worst. And I was like, hey, is everybody seeing this? Like, there's a lot more illustrated like fiction covers. There's a lot more illustrated like everything covers. I got to get into this, and I did, and that is what kind of gave me the courage to start making comics. And I'm really glad I did, because it's a lot of fun. The first thing I was published in was a website called The Toast that people might know, and I had written them like a funny list because I was just into like writing funny stuff. I was published in McSweeney's a few times, and I don't know. It was just a neat habit. And they were like, "Look, we want anything but a list." And I was like, "Well, what if I turn it into a comic?" And they were like, "We would love that." And I had so much fun doing that, that I just kind of kept drawing all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what brings us to today. Many years later,
here we are, and you're still writing, you're still drawing, you're still making comics, you're still self-publishing zines. Like that's everything that you had done previously, you're still doing now. So that's something that not many people say or can say, that like it continues, because you even mentioned it with the like you get into it and you get really hot with it, and then you get frustrated and it kind of slows off, and then you get back into it and you go through those ebbs and flows of things. And it kind of sounds like you're like, once you were in it, you found your rhythm and what you like doing, and you just kept running with it, which is awesome. So
well,
like,
I mean, a huge part of that though is you doing Aha, which to the uninitiated is a horror anthology. And like that was just like, as you put it, you said, just make a comic. And I was like, this is great. Like, full color. There we go.
Yeah. You know me,
love
I love
that. Props. I got my copy in the background. So
yeah, you do.
Yeah, like just those opportunities when someone says, hey, I need something. Like if you're listening to this and you want to know how to get in comics, like just jump on that. Just give it everything you got, because that's how you find out if you're interested or not. And if you are interested, then you're really interested. So it's
I'm definitely one of those people that I hear the faucet metaphor, or I heard that growing up, of like either the faucet's completely off or it is completely on. And I am definitely a completely on kind of person. I don't know how to half do something. It's always like all or nothing. And usually when it's all plus, and it becomes all consuming. And I spend way too many late nights and early mornings doing things. But to get to the point where you have a thing that you can hold and see randomly at, I don't know, punk rock flea markets that by chance might just happen occasionally, to like walk in and see something that you made being sold by a local shop and seeing people buy it is like the coolest thing ever. And so it's just like when you said like making art feels good, dude. Yes, it does. It might not in the moment, right? Because for me, being the perfectionist, and to your point of like just start doing it, and with more encouragement than I'll admit to coming from Kay of like, dude, just keep drawing, like keep making stuff, keep making art and all those things. To just let go of the perfectionism that I have in a lot of other areas and just have fun with stuff and be like, that's kind of ugly, but that's what it's going to be. Like it's fun and it's freeing. And I feel like when I'm having fun and not focusing on every single line being this exact parallel or perfectly straight or whatever, like that's the point of art, is that it's human made and it's not perfect and neither are we. And that's how it should be.
Oh
And
yeah.
so like, I don't know. Do you have those like overarching, I don't know even what to call it, like mantras when you sit down to start creating? Because every time, like, I have to remind myself it's not going to be perfect. And that's the point. And then I can start like drawing and just have fun with it. So like, do you have something like that that drives your creations?
I think more often these days, Kurt Vonnegut had some very good rules for like writing, and one of his was like, just have pity for your reader, like let them in on what you're talking about, make it easy. That's something that I think about a lot. Hallowzine is definitely like that, because like I just want to bring like the best stuff, and I want to pull in people who haven't necessarily made scary things before.
Yeah.
And so it is yeah, I think that's the main thing, is like make it easy for the reader or whoever's looking at this to try to understand it. Because when I look back at the work that I'm not proud of, like everything was just really oblique and kind of dry, and I think that was just kind of like when you're in high school and you write something and like someone misinterprets it or something like that. I think that became that kind of obliqueness becomes like an armor or something, where it's like, well, you're going to have to really dig to figure this stuff out. And, it's not fun. It's like, it's more fun just to like make something that's kind of accessible. And, I also enjoy very oblique books from time to time. So like,
Sure.
don't be discouraged if that's your thing. But for right now, like that's definitely my mantra, is to just try to make it as easy for the person reading it to understand it as possible.
Yeah, I do think, and it felt like a whole like theme with movies specifically, where it became like, well, yes, the movie subject matter is this, but the meaning is actually this, this, and this. And like, does it have to be? Like, can it just be about the cat chasing the mouse on screen? Like, what do you mean it's a metaphor for like capitalism and democracy chasing it? Like, what are you talking about? And I tend to oversimplify things, because sometimes I just want something to be fun and entertaining. And I'm not interested in the over analytical, like letterboxed people, like, oh, the meaning that they conveyed by having the camera 6 degrees shifted off center is really to set up this feeling of unease. And it's like, shut up, it was a freaking movie. Like, just enjoy the movie.
I think generally, like, what upsets me about the culture right now, and this is in social media and just about everywhere, is it just feels like there's just constant one-upmanship. Like, I can enjoy this better than you, and it's like, I do think this is kind of what lured me to Hallowzine, is like a funhouse either works or it doesn't. Like, either someone yells boo and you're scared, or you're just kind of wasting time. And I think it can be fun to explore metaphors and stuff like that, but it does go too far. And I think unless you're writing like a really provocative essay about this imagery or something like that, I don't know that it's necessarily something I want to see in like social media or like party conversation or whatever. Like, I think we just have to be able to enjoy the stuff that we enjoy. And it's funny because like you can interpret horror movies lots and lots of ways. Like I think that's and Halloween's not a movie, but we do have lots of scary stuff. So
Yeah.
and,
So
and
so tell me.
I feel like we buried the lead. Chris has got a story in the new issue. I'm very excited about it. It's a lot of fun. I'm still thinking about it. I read it on Friday. It's 2 days later. I really hope you guys like it. So please check out our Kickstarter, because these are the stories that like every story in Hallowzine is something that I find myself thinking about later on, and I think that's the best kind of fiction. So
Yeah.
that's what I want for our people here.
Yeah. So, A of all, thank you. And just, cause it's my show, I can pump the ego a little bit here. Thanks, Kay. But so take me through curating Hallowzine, cause there's a bunch of different creators. It's not just short comics. It's not just like short fiction. It's weird for me because I'm writing prose and I haven't written an actual prose story in a while. So it's nice to flex or remember how to do that as opposed to all of the comic scripting that I've been doing lately. So like walk me through, how do you decide like what's the like intention behind what you include, what you don't include, how you put the issue together?
So the first thing I ask for is like a pitch from the creator, and I can usually kind of suss out if that would be something that like is going to fit in Hallowzine or not. And then how detailed that pitch is up to the creator, because like I don't want people to spend like a whole lot of time on this.
Yeah.
And from there, I'm going to read the story. I'm going to read it again and again. And when I'm doing that, I'm trying to figure out where it's going to go in the zine, because I've already reached out to other people. I know I've got a comic about, I don't want to reveal too much about this issue yet, but I'll know I have a comic that strikes this tone, and I know I have a poem that strikes this tone, and I just start to try to imagine like the ride that the reader's going to be on. And if I feel like it doesn't fit in that ride, I'm usually just like, hey, I'm really sorry. Like this is close, but not quite. And that's the truth. Like,
yeah,
pretty much everything I get is usually like really close to something I can use. And if it's not accepted, like it's not a mark or anything against that creator. Like it just, Hallowzine kind of has a tone where like I sort of imagine the zine being played on like a TV, like around Halloween or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
the kind of Tales from the Crypt. I mean, Tales from the Crypt is a lot darker than
yeah,
than most people remember.
Like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Feels like
Yeah.
a good one because it was on Nickelodeon, so it wasn't full of blood, guts, and gore, but it also wasn't like playing during a weekday for preschoolers as well. Like it strikes that, and when you said it should feel like a nightmare that like comes in, it hits and goes right back out. For me, that framing helped a lot with like, okay, this is, if I'm thinking of a nightmare, not just of telling a short story, but sometimes like when I have nightmares, because I try and write down every dream I have so that I remember it, because a lot of my stories come from dreams that I've had. Take that how you will. That's a separate therapist bill. But like I try and think a lot of my dreams don't have the normal like set up, and it doesn't follow the typical 3-act character arc. It sometimes is just like the climax arc where I'm suddenly like running through this space station trying to get these people off before the aliens find us and they'll murder all the humans on their way to Earth. Like that's been a dream and I have no idea why. I don't know what the aliens are. It's just like suddenly I'm on that spaceship and that's my objective. And so I like playing with story in a way that I can do that, where it's like I don't have to spoon feed like J.R.R. Tolkien did with Lord of the Rings. going into excruciating detail about a field of purple flowers over like 5 pages. I don't need to, that's not it. I'm not that kind of writer.
Well, it really doesn't always work for scary scary fiction, horror, whatever you want to call it. Like horror is still kind of a misnomer. Like I enjoy sort of the fantasy aspects of horror. Like I'm definitely more interested in monsters and the supernatural than say just like horrific circumstances. Like that's not my. And I'm just reminded of like Peter Cushing, who's played Frankenstein in many, many movies and is best known as like Grand Moff Tarkin from Star Wars. He, as an actor, had talked about how he felt that horror was kind of a misnomer for the genre, and it should be called something like, Frankenstein and Dracula are scary, but they're also like this kind of what if, like what if there was a monster made from, like the remains of humans? What would it want from this world? And what if there was an ancient evil who suddenly started buying up all the property in London? And so like that's much more interesting to me than like, you're locked in a box and you're surrounded by piranhas. Like I don't care. Like that's
I love that note. Like you're stuck in a box with piranha. There's not water. It's just like I'm imagining just you with a bunch of piranha dumped on you, and they're trying to get water, but they're eating you instead, and you're trying to get. That's where my brain goes with that.
Really, that's the best possible situation. It's like the piranhas maybe eat the box, and you fight your way out. Now we're writing like a men's adventure story from the 60s. So. That's the next project, Chris.
That would be so much fun to like do like a very retro feeling anthology of like the 50s sci-fi. Cause I just watched, oh gosh, what did I just watch? I just watched something. It was like the Planet of Vampires, or I have no idea. It was on Tubi.
That is my favorite. That is one of my favorite movies. That was a big influence on Artifacts. And I think Alien takes a lot from Planet of the Vampires. Like there's some DNA there.
I love that. But like it's so much fun as a movie to see with the sci-fi aspects, like what they thought high sci-fi tech was gonna be when it was made, 60, 70 years ago. And it's like that's nothing even close to it. But also I would rather have what they imagined. Like that's what I want. But don't you think they felt the same way? Like they saw where technology was going. It was like, what if we had a food replicator? That'd be nice. Like, yeah. Can we just push a button and get a steak dinner with green beans and a mashed potato pile? That'd be great. Like that's what I want. But yeah, like I think it'd be fun to do specifically like throw out all modern horror story tropes of the last 50 years, right? So take from the 70s till now, forget all of it, write a horror story, go. And like, because every year when I do my horror watching, I don't just do October because there's too many movies that I want to watch. And like the last list I made for last year, I think my list was 84 movies, which is a lot, and I'm still not done with them all. But that's fine. I never finish all of them anyway. But one of the things I do make sure to do every year is I'll watch a horror movie from every decade, starting back with the silent shorts in like the late 1800s, like early like 1902s, and because a lot of those are on YouTube, so I'll watch those and then progress forward. And as the decades progress, you do notice like, oh, they're telling story differently. They're like, the horror isn't this thing that's terrifying. It's this person that might just be evil or whatever that like really gets in, or like the horror is the fact that a husband is willing to do this to his wife. and like betray her and have this complete side relationship and lie to her and make her think that she's going crazy and force her to do all of this nonsense. And it's really because the guy is just an evil,
I
horrifying person.
I want to jump in there with Invisible Man, because people are usually like, "What's scary about the Invisible Man?" It's the concept's not what's scary. It's who has this power. Like, he's not
Yeah.
not a normal dude.
Yeah.
And that's a fun movie. I really like this idea of watching different horror movies from different eras, because like, A, you're getting like the best of the best, but
Yeah.
you know, but B, this thing you're talking about, narrative, the narrative changing is really kind of fascinating to me. Yeah, I got to try that. That's
If you need a
that's sort of
list or 6 of where to start, I've been doing this since before COVID, where I watch the movies all October. So I've got plenty that I can share. I've done the Googling, I have done the link tracking and figuring out where all this stuff is. And yeah, you just let me know and I'll
well. Let's forget about Hallowzine for the minute. Like, what's your what's your favorite horror silent movie?
Nosferatu, the
Okay.
original 1912. I watch that every year. It ever since I found it on, I don't even remember when I found it, but I love it. Like it's because yes, Nosferatu is like a horrifying looking character, and also like the idea of being away from everything, as Hutter is, like he goes to this complete remote country, away from his fiance, away from everything that is familiar, to sell some real estate, and then to Count Orlok. And that, like, but then he gets stuck there and he can't just go home, and so he has to hope that his fiance is still doing okay. And then there's the threat of all the plague that's coming, and they do some really cool stuff as the movie progresses with camera work and viewpoints to play with perspective. Like, you're in one of the coffins that they're carrying down the street. Like, for that scene sticks in my brain every time I see it, because it's just like, that's so good. And like, there's different elements that aren't like modern horror where you have to see this terrifying thing. It's just having the presence of Orlok on the ship and knowing that he's there, that gives that dread of all of the seamen that are trying to sail the ship back to the countryside. Like, all of those, it's fantastic.
Well, I like the Lugosi a lot too, but honestly, Nosferatu feels way more to me like the vampire that's described by Bram Stoker than like, I don't know. I mean, they're two sides of the same coin, but like when you get to that like kind of like moving maggot of a person, like that's Nosferatu.
Like that is Orlok, and there's no like the dread of him coming. And listening to the original score, because I'm like, again, I'm all or nothing, and I went all in. I'm like, if this is going to be my favorite movie, I need to know everything I can about it, because when people ask me, I need to be able to talk about it and know what the hell I'm talking about. Even the musical score starts using more and more minor chords in the scenes that he's in, as opposed to the scenes that he's not in, because the minor chords just give your subconscious this level of uneasiness of just like, that doesn't feel right. And you don't even realize that that's what you're feeling because of the minor chords that are being played, but it just adds it adds to the experience of watching it. And so like, I love Lugosi as the Count. Like, that's obviously, he is and should only ever be Dracula. Like, I have watched a ton of other silent movies with him and with Karloff in it together.
Have you seen oh shoot, I almost took us down a rabbit hole. I'm going to be quiet. Have you seen him as Shendu, the hypnotist? It was like an adventure.
No, I can't find it.
Okay. I'll see what I can do.
Great. Yeah, you let me know. Because I just want to watch everything I can with him. And even other movies that Lugosi's in, I'm like, that's Dracula. Like,
yeah.
And he's always very good at Dracula. But yeah, what do you have a favorite silent movie?
I was also going to say Nosferatu too. I mean,
Perfect.
Caligari is like up there
Oh
because
yeah.
it's very uncomfortable, and
Yeah.
again, it's not the it's well, the technology in this case is very disturbing, but it's also the person using it.
Yeah.
I think Caligari is pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
But yeah, all these things that you're talking about are what led me to do a zine about scary stories with scary comics and even poetry. Just that feeling of like, we're going to imagine something unusual, and then we're gonna take it to some uncomfortable places, and we're just going to see where the chips fall. Like that
Yeah.
to me is just like what kind of Halloween is about. Making your porch look a little bit scarier and seeing who's going to come to your door to ask for candy, like
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like it's just kind of cool. And I get that. Like I live in New York City. Like there are a lot of people who don't like Halloween for various reasons, and I totally get it. But I also think it's phenomenal in that it is this community-based holiday where you can meet other people. Like they're literally going to come to your door,
Yeah.
and they're usually showing you something that they're into. Like their costumes are going to reflect like what they've been thinking about, and you're going to give them candy because you have to.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. Yeah. Of the neighbors that I know that I like,
an evergreen.
I have some that I don't, but of the neighbors that I know that I like, I started talking to them on Halloween because we were like, that's our holiday in the punk household. We set up a fire pit. We always make a pizza. I've got a like 6-hour long playlist of horror music. And we sit out in the driveway and let kids come up, and unless it's raining, and then we huddle on the porch, but we're still outside because we want people to know like, hey, no, you can cut, because right next to us they don't do anything for Halloween. So like they don't give out candy, they don't do anything like that. But the house on the other side of them is a younger couple. They just moved in a couple years ago, and they came over to our house last year, and they were like, hey, we're gonna take our daughter out to trick or treat, but like there doesn't seem to be a lot of houses in our corner of the neighborhood that do trick or treating. Yeah, you're right. You got to go. And so like just telling them where they should go to get the houses that do give out a bunch of candy, it was fun because then like they knew, because we were sitting out, that we know Halloween. And so they came over and started talking. They ended up standing here talking to us for a couple minutes. And then now every time we see them, they get the nod or like the 3-finger wave or whatever. And it started just because they wanted to take their daughter trick-or-treating. And so like same thing with the guy across the street. They moved in that first Halloween. He was out in a Michael Myers costume, and I was the year I was Dracula, and I ran with the cape like flowing behind me across the street. And I went over and I was like, it's good to have another creep in the neighborhood. Welcome, I'm Chris, I live over there. And then like I just turned and ran back off with the cape, and it was same thing. Now we always say hi to each other, and it's just like for us in this corner, like it's what's bringing us together as neighbors is Halloween. Like it's how do you not like Halloween? I don't understand those people.
Yeah, it is a when I lived in this part of Brooklyn that was like right on the Queens border. It's called Bushwick, but it was also near Ridgewood, and like it was pretty isolating. Like I didn't know a whole lot of people, but like but I kind of knew my neighbors, and like Halloween, like I get a doorbell, and I'm like, I guess I better find some candy. Like I love candy, so it's not a problem. But
Yeah.
like my next door neighbors came by. The kids just wanted to show off their costumes. Like they were matching Freddy Krueger's, and they had put oatmeal on their faces. And like I was like, this is the coolest. Like, and it really made my day. And again, like that bond you get from just saying like, hey, I'm kind of like, I I like this stuff. Like it's it's a great time to do that. And that's also how I feel about the zine, is like it's me saying like, I like this stuff. Like this is what I think other people should be reading around October. And it's what I wish I could have found myself, because like I don't necessarily want to read Lovecraft in October. Like I'll read it every other month of the year, but it's just not the same kind of vibes.
Yeah. I just read all of his, like, the complete works of Lovecraft. I found like a 70-hour audiobook at the library that had all of his works. And so I listened to every single one of them last year. And I was like, some of them were kind of stinkers, but there were some that I had never read before, because I had read like Call of Cthulhu and the oh shoot, of course I'm forgetting it. The one where they're at the Mountains of Madness. I think is
Yeah.
what it is. Like I had read those, but I hadn't read, and I'm gonna forget all the titles, but there were some that I hadn't read, right? And I listening to all of them together, was fun just to finally like be able to say, yes, I've officially now read all of the Lovecraft stuff, but also seeing little pieces that he dropped in to throughout the stories that really made it like one complete universe, like references to Miskatonic University, references to Arkham, references to Cthulhu, and like all of these weird spatial cosmic horrors that are just written, like just sprinkled in a little bit, that really kind of influences for me how I think about if I'm creating one world, like that's how I want to do it, not necessarily where I have to shove it in people's faces that like, hey, this is all the same thing. Don't you get it? There's a billboard with the same character from this other. It's just like, no, it can be subtle, because that's how life is. Like you find subtle things that connect stuff or people or stories or whatever. And that is for me what makes like a whole thing together. Like, is there anything in, and it doesn't have to be 4, it can be 3 or 2 or the first one, that like tied together in a way that was unexpected at the time, but then once you had the whole book together, you were like, that was meant to be like that.
I can't think of anything exactly, because I do try to like change things up quite a bit. No, I can't think of anything specific, but the thing I was really proud of last issue was just I felt like we had a lot of different kinds of stories, and we had Chris Mendoza, K, to the CHK crowd. Like he had this book that was sort of about possession, but it was also about traveling to different worlds through like spells and conjuring. And then we had a poem about like a witch's cat, and what else? One thing that I was hoping to bring back that didn't pan out this year was Emily Gaudette's stories about the Black Salt ghost hunters, who are a bunch of like college kids, and I was really hoping we could get another one, but it looks like it's not going to happen this year. Sorry, I'm rambling. No, I can't think of it. I can't think of anything like immediate, but like that is the kind of thing that I like. And I really like it when people build their own mythologies and don't lean on, like I just read a horror book that I'm not going to name, but like it was name dropping references from other horror movies and stories all over the place. And it's like, we've done this. Like we got to build our own worlds now, guys. Like, Hollywood is not our friend. Like the big franchises are not like looking after us. Like build your own town where spooky things happen, because like that is going to serve you. And not somebody else. I respect that, of course, and like it's fun to see those things, but I really gravitate towards people who build their own worlds and aren't leaning on the franchises.
There was one, and of course I forget the name of it, but it was a trilogy of books, and the main character was like obsessed with all things horror all the time. And the way that the references to like obscure horror movies or obscure horror characters or trivia or whatever were woven into the story, it was like utilizing them to make a point or to tie stuff that was happening in the book together in a
Hmm.
way that I think for the reader it made it easier, because it was like, oh yeah, I know Bay of Blood, like yeah, that movie, sure. And so like when they're using that, like it's not like Bay of Blood gore, but it's kind of like Jaws gore. And it was like, and so the characters talking about that with other characters or like inner monologue stuff, and that for me paints like a much clearer picture
Yes.
than, like, oh, it's you can see blood, but it's not like gushing like a geyser, like using that as a metaphor of like using the movies and those established um franchises or whatever you want to call it, like that was way more interesting to me than to just use them to where it feels like a name drop of like, yeah,
Yeah.
aren't we hip and trendy? We know all of these horror things. And it's like, yeah, but just write your own. Like, yeah, totally agree with that. Speaking of writing your own, how many do you have like a final count of stories, inclusions, contributors in this fourth issue?
So we're in the pre-launch era right now, which is let's see, we have most of what I hope to run, but there's also like people who are like, let me see if I can get this to you the next couple of weeks. So I have pitches, but no. So I am going to be pretty close to the vest about like what's in it until September 1st.
Sure.
But the people who are coming back, Leonie O'Moore is a comic artist who I really feel like more people should know. She's been in every issue since issue 1. She does these amazing comic books on her own that usually feel sort of like a film. One of those books was called Torrent, which was I don't even want to spoil it for you, but it was pretty crazy. And last year she gave basically a comic retelling of the story of the jack-o'-lantern that you kind of hear about it, but then you see it played out and you're just like, whoa. So I'm really glad to have her on board again. She's one of those people who just makes every anthology a little bit better. We've got yourself, and we've got Matt Troy, who's this interesting writer from Wales. He does a lot of spoken word, kind of scary stories, and he joined us in issue 2, and we've held on to him. He's got another one of his stories that just doesn't quite go where you think it's going to go, and it just sends chills up your spine. I really love the worlds that he portrays, and he also kind of teaches you a little bit more about the traditions of Halloween in this one, so it's kind of cool. John Thavens is some guy's pseudonym. He's been with us since the beginning. He's back with another really weird story, and of course our mascot, the Viscount Spookamesh, who is a mostly retired horror host. He's going to go on another weird adventure. I do his stories, and like I have a lot of fun with them, because like horror host, there's just something inherently funny about it, and it's also like the job I want the most. Like it just seems like there's something. It's so not cool that it is somehow cool to me. Like you're getting to watch movies, and you're like watching them with people, sort of, and you get to discuss them and make fun of them in the way that I kind of think that they're meant to be.
Yeah.
So let's see, who am I forgetting? Donald David is an artist who's done work for Scholastic, New York Times Magazine, and if you've been to Coney Island, he did this amazing painting at the Freak Bar of all the freaks from Coney Island. It's really cool.
That's cool.
And anytime he gives us work, I'm just like, oh, like he's a really talented guy. And
is he did I see Jasmine's involved?
Yes, I almost forgot. We got Jasmine Crawshaw from Aha. She's got some flash fiction, and it's a really cool story. She has so much writing out there, guys. Like this is a writer that I hope more people will pick up on, because she can just write for days. It's really amazing. And Gregory Crosby, who edits the scary poetry collection called Bowery Gothic. He's been with us on and off since the first issue, and he'll have another poem for us. So I think like poetry, scary poetry is just like really fun. Like most of us can recite like parts of Jabberwock or like The Raven, and so
Yeah.
being a small part of that tradition is a lot of fun for me.
Yeah. I love that you just mentioned the Jabberwocky, because we did like a deep dive case study in one of my, and I think it was drama 2, on the Jabberwocky, and like we had to break it out and then only focus on doing one scene, and somehow like the groups had to get together to do the single scenes to do the entire, to make the entire thing happen. And it was super fun. And also I hated it because it was a group project and there were people in the group that like didn't care at all and were just taking it because it was more fun than taking like computer programming or something. And like, I'll just take drama, whatever. But I love all of that's like, I unironically love Shakespeare. I love Poe. I love Lovecraft. Like,
Gotta say, Shakespeare had some horror chops too. Like
yeah,
he really got in there. But I didn't mean to cut you off. Like
no,
what
you're
else in
good.
the
The other one that's a deep, that feels like a deep cut, because usually when I mention, people are like, the what? The Canterbury Tales by Chaucer.
Mhm.
Like it takes a lot, A, of all, to get into the right mindset to understand what's being written because it's in old English. But once I get there and I read them, it's just like, this is so good. Like the storytelling is so good. And it's just a bunch of like travelers passing through Canterbury and sharing their tales. And some are supposed to be more grounded than others, and some are over the top ridiculous. And it's just, it's a collection of stories that left an imprint. And like, that's
a long imprint, like
a very long, it's a long time. It's a long book. But yeah, it's are there, speaking of like, since we're talking authors and stuff, what are some of your like inspirations when you're creating or writing, just like in general?
oh hmm. I mean, Lovecraft certainly in there a little bit. Like I think I'm not so into the cosmic horror aspect of things because I think it gets a little like whenever he's writing about a New England cannibal, I'm like, yes. or or the cannibal tunnels under Boston.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
a good one too. Yeah, he's definitely in the mix. I mean, I read a lot of Stephen King when I was younger, and I he's just in the DNA. Like I really like I still like his writing. Like I think one of the greats. Lately I've been reading Paul Tremblay, who I hadn't read before, and I like his work a lot. But for in terms of like what I try to pick up when I'm writing or creating stuff, I do just try to hold on to images and things from movies that I really really like. Like for artifacts, it's scenes from Forbidden Planet that I just give me chills, or even Event Horizon. There's a little bit of Event Horizon in artifacts, and more just trying to focus on like how you feel when you encountered that than like trying to like actually steal the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris made this. Kay made this observation here that I don't want to leave out. He was saying stark description can be in the amount of detail left out too. Like I think that is the other scary thing about the fun thing about short fiction is you don't always know who's giving you this story and can they be trusted. Like it's really that's kind of fun, is the omission and the just sort of like joining the narrative media res is like that's another thing I love about short fiction that I think is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Um,
And a lot of times too, like when writing horror, what you leave out is almost, or can be, as terrifying as what you explicitly do write down on the page, because then
Yeah.
it's really in the reader's imagination of what they're seeing. And it's why I think a movie like Cloverfield is one of my favorite monster movies, because you don't see it until the very end. Like you're
No.
only seeing glimpses and like a tentacle here or a leg there or a giant shadow here. And like that not knowing almost makes it worse, because on the flip side, like with, was it Bird Box, where you can't look at the monsters? Up until you see the monsters, it was a terrifying movie. And then once you see it, it was like, they're little babies. Like that's what? And then so like that completely.
I'm not scared of a baby.
Yeah, like it completely ruined the entire movie for me. And I was one of the few people that was like, that movie's dumb. They never should have showed the monster. If you don't show it and you keep it just this dread of what could be, like I think it would have stuck. I know it would have stuck for me, of like that was a well executed movie, but because they showed it, then it was like, oh, that's dumb.
Yeah. No, that's my favorite kind of story. And there are a few in Hallowzine where it's just like, what's happening? And it's like, you're not going to know. Like you got to think about it. You got to really think about it. And I think increasingly too, that's been like my pet peeve for like horror movies and stuff, is like, we're going to spell out the rules for how you can survive. I'm like, I do not care. Like the Saw movies can just take a hike. Like, it's like, we don't need to gamify everything. Like it just doesn't, it's much more mysterious. There's like a Nathaniel Hawthorne story I read in college that was just about like walking through the woods and seeing scary things that shouldn't be there. Like that's something I think about a lot, because you can do that today. Like you can go for a walk late at night and it's still going to be as scary as it was in the 1600s. Like it's, that horror is kind of an evergreen in that respect. Like we're always scared of something.
Yep. Yeah. And so I was just thinking about this earlier today, actually, like the reason that, because on my way to church, I passed like we're very much out of the like city part of Cincinnati and Hamilton. And so I'm driving through and there's a bunch of just open farm space. And one of these like wide open farms has just a single solitary, like 3-story mansion on it that is all overgrown and it's vacant. I don't think anybody has lived there for decades, but it's like, there could be some terrifying stuff in that house. And then it was like, there's potentially a story there that if I chew on it long enough, I'll get to, but it would work because at least in Ohio, everybody's had the experience of driving by a farm and seeing that one house that's just off in the distance. And it's like, who lives there? Like that's secluded, and it looks slightly dilapidated. And it always comes back to Psycho for me, of the reason that movie is so freaking good. One of the reasons is because it takes place in a roadside motel. Who hasn't driven by a roadside motel? And so like horror works when it takes place in an everyday setting. So to the woods, like, I was just walking through woods. Like I used to do it regularly, like when I had more time, and I would go just walking through nature trails and stuff like every weekend, and definitely had a couple where the trail ended and I didn't realize it because I had just was off in my own space. And I suddenly like, where the hell am I? And like, there's no trail anywhere. And I just had found myself getting into the middle of the woods somewhere. And I was like, well, eventually I got to get back to the car. Like, but I'm already here. So let's just kind of explore. And then you see like branches put together in like a teepee, and it's like, I'm done exploring. We're out. Yeah, no, I don't stay there. Blair Witch, stay over there.
I've had that experience here in Greenwood Cemetery, which is just massive. And sometimes when you go in, they will warn you like, this place is much bigger than it looks like. And it's very easy to get lost. I've gotten lost many times. And the other thing about that is it can be kind of fun to be to cross that line, and you're like, oh no, like I went a little bit too far. Like I'm sure everything's going to be okay. And then for a minute, you're just like, is everything going to be okay? Like
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to do with every issue. And I, I think it's you know, like there's lots of ways to be scared. Like you can watch scary movies and stuff like that. But I do think that fiction does it in a way that's different, and comics too, for that matter. Like I just think it's can be more fun for you to bring like what's scary or tense about this situation than just having like lots of gore like thrown at the screen or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I think that's more the spirit of October. Last weekend, we took my youngest kiddo to Coney Island because his brother was at camp, and he was doing all these rides, and like I was getting really bored, and I was like, I think I'm gonna do the Spookorama by myself, and uh, and I was like, this is kind of dumb, but I just go to my wife, I'm like, I'm just gonna go to the Spookorama real quick. And she's like, she's like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah, just for research for the zine, I'll be right back. And like, that was that. Like, I'm gonna spoil it for you. Spookorama has been like a little disappointing for like, I don't know, 50 years now. Like, there's a fine tradition of like, of being like, I'm sorry, what is happening? It's very dark in here. I don't like, but it gave me that feeling of like I put my toe over the line and like things are going to get a little bit weird. It's also like there's also like lots of like weird old Coney Island style art as you like go through the tunnel that I am really into. Like I like seeing like someone having spray painted like a skeleton against a spider web or whatever. Like I think that stuff's cool. So
that's awesome. So so logistically, the campaign, which is linked in the description, so it's super easy for anybody to find it and pre-save the campaign, but you launch September 1st?
September 1st, yeah, and it'll end September 25th. So it's if you're interested, like you really gotta get in there now for the pre-launch, and please just back it. Like we've got a lot of cool offerings, especially thanks to you, Chris, for like many of your suggestions. Like it's really good to get ideas from other people, because I've just been kind of like in the dark for the last to bring it back to Spookorama. The last couple of years, like I sort of know what works, but like Kickstarter is a little confusing. But this year I think we have a lot of cool offerings. Oh, and we have to do one of them. I mean, this is more about the social media campaign. So we're gonna make a monster, me and you, viewer, this year for Hallowzine. And the way it works is I've got this list of random stuff. Actually, this is backwards in the the thing that I'm looking at right now. But basically, I have 6 ways that like a part of the monster can look. And I have 6 parts of the monster that I'm going to draw. And Chris is kind of going to kick it off for us because he's got a 6-sided die, and he's going to roll it. And when he rolls it, folks, we're going to find out what the left arm of this monster is, because Igor is going to go to the mausoleum and go find it for us. So, Chris, please roll.
2.
Yes. Number 2 is animal. So we're going to have an animal left arm that's going to be left to my discretion, and I'm going to have to think about that. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. This is sort of like if you did the solo version of Exquisite Corpse, like if it was just one artist. And basically to encourage you folks to pledge, like every time we get follows or pledges, like I'm going to do another part of this monster until we have a final one before the campaign ends September 25th. That's so awesome. Thank you, Chris, for helping us make this monster. Like,
yeah,
I
happy to roll it too. Yeah, I do think it's so. Like, are you going to be, when you do new roles and you come up with the different body parts, are you posting those on your Instagram?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing it through my Instagram. That's at Evan Johnston Art. It's Johnston. I'm easy to find. I'm not the ripped athletic Evan Johnston, but I could be. That's a choice I made.
Could be.
So.
in another timeline, you rolled a 4 15 years ago, and you became ripped, and
yeah. If that guy if he starts doing art, I'm in big trouble. That's all I know. But it'll be on my Insta and for the Threadzians. I'm trying to what's your social media like hierarchy? Are you more a Threads or a Blue Sky person at this point?
So I honestly try to be Substack more. Because I like the quickness of the notes feature, which is like every other Twitter ripoff. Honestly, Blue Sky, like I go through waves where like I don't do anything on Blue Sky except for post show links. And then I'll go through another week where like suddenly I'm having conversations with people and I'm getting DMs on Blue Sky and all this other stuff. And then I forget about Threads. And then I'm like, I haven't really done anything on Threads in a while. And so then I'll be intentional of like opening Threads and having conversations there. And then suddenly that ticks up and I just like throw Blue Sky to the back. I think of the three, right now I'm defaulting more to Threads than the other two, than Substack and Blue Sky, just because there's no because. It's just because I don't know. But yeah, that's where currently like I'm spending more time when I'm social media-ing, which I do too much of anyway. Like I'm also in this mindset right now where like I just want to throw everything connected to the internet away, and I just all of it to disappear. And like, let me just live my life and make my comics and my zines, and if people find me, cool, and if they don't, okay. But then I'm like, but I want people to find it so that A, the stories get out there, and B, there can still be that little tiny glimmer of hope of like, this could be a full-time gig for me. Even though I'm not putting any stock in that, but because I don't try hard enough, and that's fine. I don't want to try hard enough. I have a regular job for that. So, but that's, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm still trying to figure these things out. Like it just seems like it changes, week by week or whatever. Yeah. So, but yeah, I hear you. Like it's, and I'm for those following, like I'm going to try to keep it update light because like everyone's got too much email these days. But I will tell you what's going on, and but I'm not going to be like, here's today's thoughts on where we are. Like nobody needs that, because you're trapped in a box and outside there's piranhas and it's not clear to you if there's water or if they're air piranhas, which is a thing I think Piranha 3, they have wings. That's my understanding. I've never seen this. Have you seen Piranha 3 or?
No, I only ever saw Piranha 3D, which was garbage.
Oh yeah. No, my son who hates horror is looking at me like, what? It's I believe James Cameron is involved.
Yes. Yeah. It's a highly cinematically regarded film of the air piranhas. I mean, there was Sharknado, and then with Sharknado, then came like everything else NATO. So I'm sure there's a Piranhado.
I forgot about.
I'm sure that's a thing somewhere. If
I got this copy of Piranhado. It sounds like a great foreign film. I think it's a. Oh my God!
There's piranhas with wings. What the hell? I love that. I don't have any official more notes for you, but I do have 2 more things that I want to do because I worry about our sanity if we spiral too far with the Piranhado thing.
Oh, don't fight the magic. We just created a new IP. My son is holding up his iPad, just has Gremlins written in like this huge font, and I'm like, Gremlins is a huge influence too. Like we watched. yeah, he's happy with me. So what are we doing to stay more sane? Because I don't know. Like,
so I'm gonna take a screenshot. We're gonna pose.
Okay.
We're gonna do the screenshots, and we'll do that, and then we'll get closing thoughts from you. I keep doing. I like. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna get the panel where you're scared. That's what we're gonna do. And so we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1. Perfect. The other thing is I love doing this show because I get to talk to people that are located geographically all over the world, South or Africa. I'm still looking at you. I need somebody from Africa to get on this show. But in a world and society that says that we're different, and because we're different, we have to be enemies with each other, I disagree. I think we can be friends in the midst of differences. And so to lean into the similarities that we share, I just like to, open up the space to every creator that comes on to share whatever they want to talk about. And that could be a sales pitch for Hallowzine. It could be a new movie synopsis for Piranha NATO 4, whatever. The
Piranado.
Yeah.
It's in España.
The content doesn't matter. I just want to make sure that you've got some space to share whatever you want people to hear. So take it away, Evan.
Yeah, no, I just am really grateful that, like you're saying, like, computers and social media have made the world much more confusing, but like I am really grateful for the opportunity just to be able to reach out to people who I don't know, who are willing to support these artistic endeavors. And like, in the years since I've started drawing comics and selling prints and stuff like that, like I've been able to send out stuff like to parts of the, like, I sent something to England, and that truly like blew my mind. There's a lot of chances for connection through art and writing and music and expression that I just think we need to tap into. And I'm really grateful for that opportunity. And like, yeah, Chris, like I was listening to your show quite a bit before all this stuff, so I'm really glad you do what you do. Like, just talking to indie creators is just a wonderful thing to do to inspire people to make more stuff, and also to just put us all in touch with each other. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Hey, thank you. I already sent off the one check, so I hope it's enough.
Yeah. Well, keep it coming. Yeah. I got more piranhas to buy. So,
Perfect. Dude, this was awesome. I had a super fun time chatting. I'm definitely going to look to get you back on October. I'll just say it here publicly so that people know that they can hear more horror conversations coming this October when I shut down these normal creator conversations and I bring in panels.
Shut them down.
Just completely shut them down. And then I turn into a spook and we just talk horror all October long, because that's the point of October, right? So, again, the Hallowzine 4 campaign is linked in the description. I've got Evan's Instagram handle on there as well. And so go do the things and be up to speed and keep your eyes and inboxes open for the launch of Hallowzine.ink 4, which I have a story in that I'm really excited about telling. And plenty of, like, it's cool to be alongside other rad creators whose work I've read to now be like, yeah, I'm like, my story is in with theirs. And that's super dope too. So thanks for putting this all together, hanging out with me. Hang tight. I got logistics for you, but for everybody else, go do what's good for you and make some art, because we are out of here and I want to see your stuff.